From Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Saamiyah Syed. Our top story tonight: more than 200 million Muslims have visited the Prophet's Mosque in the past 10 months. The mosque in the Saudi city of Medina is Islam's second holiest site. In a month, Muslims from all over the world will visit the mosque during the upcoming Hajj pilgrimage. After performing Hajj rites, pilgrims head to Medina to pray at the Prophet's Mosque. The Prophet's Mosque also houses Al-Rawda al-Sharifa, housing the tomb of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Israel has decided to import 10,000 workers from India. Hebrew news website Wallah reported these workers will be used in the construction and healthcare sectors. Experts believe this move will push Palestinians out of jobs. Israeli companies mostly employ Palestinians for construction and other menial work. During Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen's visit to New Delhi in early May, a memorandum of understanding was signed between both countries. Israel intends to bring in 42,000 Indian workers, including 34,000 for construction and 8,000 for elderly care. According to the Voice of Workers website, at least 80,000 Palestinians work in various fields in Israel. About 60,000 of them work in construction. U.S. authorities have launched another investigation into WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. The Sydney Morning Herald reported the Federal Bureau of Investigation has sought an interview with Assange's friend Andrew O'Hagan. O'Hagan is believed to be the ghostwriter of the whistleblower's autobiography. The FBI's move comes despite Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese saying last month that the case must be brought to conclusion. Assange, an Australian citizen, is being held in the UK. British authorities had approved his extradition to the US last year. He is wanted for his alleged role in espionage and leaking classified US military information. Australian Senator David Shoebridge said Thursday that the US was ignoring the Australian Prime Minister's pleas. If extradited to the US, Assange faces up to 175 years in prison. Nearly half of teachers in the U.S. reported mental health issues during the 2022 to 2023 school year. According to a U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics survey, several teachers voluntarily have left their jobs. Their reasons include salaries not commensurate with inflation and lack of prestige as professionals. Nearly 35% of respondents said they will leave the profession in the next 2 years. The quitting rate is higher among Latino and Black teachers. More than 60% of teachers said they are concerned about mass shootings in schools. A story on another virus, HMPV, surging in the US comes with details after the break, so stay tuned and we will be right back. Welcome back. While the national COVID-19 emergency ended last month, another virus has emerged in the U.S. that causes respiratory infections. Health experts say human metapneumovirus, or HMPV, already was surging before the COVID-19 pandemic. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported nearly 11% of PCR tests were positive for HMPV in early March. That's a 36% increase from pre-pandemic levels recorded in 2020. COVID specialist pulmonologist Dr. Amir Khan said HMPV can cause upper and lower respiratory tract infections. There is no vaccine for HMPV. Symptoms are similar to COVID and include cough, fever, stuffy nose, and shortness of breath. World Health Organization head Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said despite the end of the global health emergency, there is a risk of another variant. A U.S. House panel intends to hold contempt proceedings against the director of the FBI for refusing to share documents. The documents in question relate to President Joe Biden and his family from the time he served as vice president. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer said Tuesday contempt proceedings against FBI Director Christopher Wray are being considered. The FBI had told the committee it would not provide documents requested by members of Congress. Comer said this amounted to hiding information from the American people and was obstructionist and unacceptable. He said the committee has made clear its intent to protect Congress's oversight authority. Earlier this month, Comer issued a subpoena to Wray requesting documents related to an alleged exchange of funds for favorable policy outcomes. Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis cited loosening gun laws as his achievement while launching a fundraising campaign Wednesday. DeSantis signed that law in April. It allows people to carry concealed weapons in public without a government-issued permit. Just one day after 9 people were injured in a shooting on a Florida beach, DeSantis sent his fundraising appeal while claiming credit for the gun law. DeSantis, an arch-conservative, has filed to run for president in 2024. In the fundraising email, DeSantis says he was defending Second Amendment rights. The law, which takes effect July 1st, had been called shameful by the White House. As of May 30th, there have been 15 mass shootings in Florida in 2023, the Herald Tribune reports. Bosnians gathered in the center of the town of Prijedor Wednesday to commemorate the deaths of 3,000 people in the 1992 ethnic cleansing operation by Serbs. On this day, known as White Ribbon Day, Bosnians commemorate the massacre, which also claimed the lives of 102 children and 258 women. People wore white ribbons on their arms and called on authorities to erect a monument in memory of the deceased children. Activist Fikret Bacic said the bodies of 640 people in the city had not yet been found. On May 31, 1992, the Serb administration in Prijedor ordered the non-Serb population to wear white stripes on their arms when they left their homes. This was followed by extermination, murder, and persecution of those who wore white stripes. About 30,000 more people were murdered in the Mosque, Karaturm, and Teripolie concentration camps on the outskirts of Prijedor. The Bosnian War began March 1, 1992, and lasted until December 14, 1995. More than 100,000 people were killed, and 2 million were displaced from their homes. During the war, the siege of Sarajevo and the genocide of Srebrenica occurred, the worst wartime atrocity in Europe since 1945. A World Bank report citing Afghanistan has good economic indicators has been praised by the Taliban-led interim government. Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, acting deputy prime minister, said the report was a factual assessment of the country's economic situation. He said positive engagement by the international community could contribute significantly to the country's economic development. The World Bank noted inflation in the landlocked country was on the decline. As of July 2022, the country had recorded an inflation rate of 18.3%. Inflation continued to decline to 1.94% in March 2023, down from 3.5% in February 2023. According to the report, state employees received their salaries on time. In January to April 2023, total exports reached $0.6 billion, up 4% from the same period in 2022. Baradar said local food production has increased and the banking system also has improved. An Iranian civil rights group says 142 people were executed in the country in May. It's the highest monthly total in 8 years. Norway-based Iranian human rights organization said the number of executions increased by 76% in the first 5 months of the year. In the past 5 months, 307 people have been executed in Iran. Mahmoud Moghadam, the IHRO director, said Iran's judiciary is cracking down on dissidents. It has ordered the execution of 7 protesters who took part in demonstrations sparked by the death of Mahsa Amini in police custody last September. Several others are currently on death row awaiting execution. According to IHRO, 55% of those executed last month were sentenced to death for drug-related offenses. Authorities have strongly defended the use of the death penalty. Moghadam called on the international community to respond forcefully to the wave of executions. He said lack of response from the international community will lead to more executions by the killing machine in Iran. Before we end today's news, I would like to make a special request. It takes more than 55 hours of work per day to produce this news segment for you. It brings news with a unique perspective, and you can find it only on here, on Muslim Network TV. Sound Vision is a not-for-profit organization which produces it. And just like PBS and NPR, we depend on your donations. Please visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, or click the link below to donate. That's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.